Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, Bitcoin. Absolutely insane. I guess it took a little breather for the weekend. I forgot what it was like the last few weekends, but I think weekends are not that bullish, or at least it doesn't feel that way. It Nobody could have expected that right on Monday it would hit a new all-time high right now. 72,700 is what it hit earlier. Right now I'm looking at it and it's at 72,500 and about 50, which is not too shabby, I must say. Everything else is kind of following Bitcoin, but not doing nearly as well. Ethereum, I'm honestly just really glad that yesterday I saw it hit 4,000, which again, not good enough for me to sell yet, but I'm waiting for it to hit a new all-time high and then kind of just kick off like Bitcoin. I might have to hold on to Ethereum till like 2025 though. So we'll see what happens with the Duncan upgrade coming up. Let's see, March 13 is what I have down on my calendar. Just a lot of important dates, I guess, this month. Like will be a very pivotal month because okay, if we get really bad CPI data, we're getting CPI data on March 12th, I believe. But as usual, do your own DD, entertainment purposes only, never financial advice. Make sure to smash the like button though when you come in. It really, really helps and support the channel. So if you enjoy my live streams or my random videos, the only way to support me, and it's absolutely free to do so, is to click that subscribe button and make sure that you smash the like button. Thank you. And for those of you guys that are interested in some free stocks, if you want to join Robinhood for whatever reason, trading stocks and crypto, definitely use my link pinned to the top of the stream. It should be somewhere around here. Thank you all very much. So yes, keep these dates if you are into crypto, and even if you're not in crypto, I guess scratch off the March 13th Ethereum Duncan upgrade, because if you're just into stocks, then the CPI data is coming out March 12th this week. And then March 20th, we're going to get that FOMC meeting to see if we are going to be raising rates, which a lot of people right now do not believe it is going to happen, simply because we had two last job reports basically do a lot better than it was expected. And we kind of need really terrible job reports and basically people being very poor, not being able to afford things, and therefore helping the Fed lower the interest rates, which is the entire goal, right? Sorry, help the Fed decrease the inflation rate, which is their goal. Because if they wanted 2%, and right now I think we're still around like a 3 point something percent. So still not anywhere close to exactly where they want to be. But all their efforts in their quantitative tightening has honestly really worked, at least for now. But I'm also watching a lot of videos where people are saying that even though the knife hasn't dropped yet, as it seems that our economy's still kind of afloat and doing much better than expected, considering we went through a crazy pandemic and considering a lot of people think that we never honestly recovered from 2008. There's a lot of things that's honestly happened, and the Fed has surprisingly been able to go through everything with their quantitative tightening, quantitative easing, and obviously all the money printing that they've been doing. But a lot of people also speculate that it could fall down really, really hard, really, really bad in the later years. So whether you think that Bitcoin is going to be a great hedge for that, or physical gold is going to be a really great hedge for that, time will tell. But it seems people are really loving Bitcoin, at least right now. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm actually really, really happy about is Ripple XRP. My God, at 73 cents. Finally, it literally did not move like all this time with like Bitcoin movement, Ethereum movement, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, all the meme coins, like dog with however much that is, by the way. Absolutely crazy. And I think PayPay's still been moving like over the weekend. I don't know how good it is right now, but I just can't because I don't have any PayPay. I'm sorry, not trying to be a hater, but I just don't see PayPay being on the top. And you can mark my words. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, but I just don't see PayPay on top 20. I don't think it's not a top 20 on the CoinMarketCap right now, but I do not believe PayPay is going to be on top 20 in about 3 years. And guess what? Doge was. So there we go. Not being a hater. This is just absolutely out of my imagination and my thoughts. So we'll see. Maybe I'm absolutely wrong and PayPay is going to beat out Doge and Shiba Inu and stay on the top 10 of the CoinMarketCap in about 5 years or so. But XRP right now is up 19.26% at 73 cents. And I have not seen it at these beautiful levels in so long. So I'm super, super happy about XRP. My highest price I've ever bought XRP was when I first started trading crypto ever in 2019. And I think I told you guys at the time, I think it was only like 33 or 34 cents. And the lowest I was able to ever get it in for was right after the news came out that there was the lawsuit. So that was around 17 cents. And honestly, if I could go back, actually, if I could go back in time, I would pick up a lot of XRP, but I would probably pick up a lot more Ethereum, just a lot more Ethereum, a lot more Bitcoin. I will say I am feeling the full regrets today after seeing Bitcoin rise. I mean, we talked about this whole halving, right? This whole halving, the possibility of actually, because Bitcoin recently hit its all-time high on March 5th and then again on March 8th, a lot of people think that within 18 days, and this is what Anthony Pompliano on CNBC said, and I think a lot of Bitcoin maxis do believe that within 18 days of a new all-time high, meaning before the end of March, before April, we should be seeing Bitcoin basically double in prices. So if you're going to think of it as 70,000, give or take, that'll be around like at least $140,000, right? Or for, I guess, some conservative thoughts, I've heard more estimates closer to 120,000. That's still absolutely amazing. Like if I was in Bitcoin, seeing it go not double, but near double to $120,000 within 18 days of a new all-time high is absolutely crazy. And I wish that we had some type of calculation like that for Dogecoin, but I was not watching Dogecoin in the past. And obviously you guys know I really only got in 2020. So for me, Dogecoin really just went crazy January, I believe 28th. And after that, took a little breather. So it definitely was on an 18-day double up, but also quite crazy because it basically, Dogecoin basically 75x'd in the span of less than half a year, because it was between the time of when I bought it to May when SNL happened in 2021, and that's when it's 75x. So I guess Dogecoin is crazier, more unpredictable, but we don't really have that 18-day mark, which is fine if it's going to 75x again, or 100x. But listen to this as it just happened, okay? This is earlier. Obviously, Bitcoin has surpassed 72,700 by now.
Crossing the $70,000 mark for the first time on Friday this morning. It's now above $72,000. Join us right now to talk Bitcoin is
Michael Saylor,
strategy executive.
I love
chairman
seeing him when
crypto
crypto's
from
doing
the
this.
company this morning, revealing it just bought more than $800 million in Bitcoin. As of the end of last month, his company held about 200,000 Bitcoins. And Michael,
that's crazy. He has 200,000 Bitcoins and they just invested another 800 million. This man, like, when I see him, I see Bitcoin. It's gotten to the point where I'm like now conditioned where anytime I see a video of him, I'm just like, Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, if you did not see my tweet, you guys should definitely follow me on X. Wait, what do I even call that? Do I still call it a tweet? Okay, whatever. But follow me on X, link down in the description below. And for those of you guys that are continuously asking me in the comment section of my videos about like my portfolio, my stocks, and crypto, I do update my Patreons and on OF anytime I make a buy trade or a sell trade. So if you want to catch up on that, go find me over there. Link down below, obviously paid subscription tier. But if you want to just straight up ask me for like a screenshot of my portfolio, I've been doing that for people as well. Again, paid subscribers only. Just message me over there and we'll get into detail over there. Any one of those platforms. But anyways, so definitely watch out because I posted yesterday on X. You can find it. It's just handle Living with Lucy, obviously. And it was really scary because last night I was just like, I just wanted to like watch some Michael Saylor stuff and Bitcoin. So I think I typed in either Bitcoin or Michael Saylor, honestly, just into search onto my YouTube. And right away at the very top, like of the search engine, it popped up this fake AI generated clearly or whatever, heavily photoshopped Michael Saylor video of him asking people to basically scan the QR code that was on the screen and put in BTC. So then it would give you like double up, like the oldest, dumbest scam, in my opinion, of life. So please, please, please do not fall for something like this. I mean, you see all the videos, like, right? Like all of it. This is the exact thing of, you know, that joke, that the running joke of like, okay, you have a door and then you slip like a $20 bill through the door and then somebody gives you $40 back. So then you give your iPhone and then another $100 bill and you get another iPhone back and your old iPhone. And then you get like $200 back. But then at the very end, when you throw in like, I don't know, all your house money, you don't get anything back because that's the whole point. But I think scams like this, that was clearly like last night on YouTube. And I think it might even still be running. It's like a live stream. YouTube on X did respond back like to my video and said, okay, like hopefully like you reported it or people reported it or whatever. But it just blows my mind. How are those videos even allowed? But definitely you have to watch out for yourself. No one's going to help you out. There's tons of scammers everywhere through emails, phone numbers constantly. And even like dating apps nowadays, I've heard since like 2-3 years ago that people want to like, they have these catfishing profiles, obviously not the actual person, and they're just there to like chat you up and then hope that you'll give them your crypto or whatever. So never trust anybody with your money, with your crypto, none of that. Okay. So just be safe. And yeah, go look at my ex and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Just a fake Michael Saylor video. Like he should honestly sue.
Thank you for joining us. You have been early and courageous, and you continue to double down.
He's so happy. Michael Saylor is so happy.
Where you think Bitcoin is, but also want to talk about how you think about MicroStrategy and your company as a proxy for Bitcoin now that ETFs are available to the public.
Sure. Well, I think I'd start just with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is certainly at least digital gold. It's going to eat gold. It's got all of the great attributes of gold, and it's got none of the defects of gold. If you could teleport gold from New York to Tokyo in a few minutes, people would like it. It's going to.
That is a great saying, though. I think like one of the most beautiful things about crypto is the fact that you can move it around anytime, 24 hours a day. There's really no stoppage on that. And like you said, New York to Tokyo, anytime. You can't do that with real gold. Hi there, David. Hi there, Bangkok, Larry, Crypto Esquire, and T-Rock. Hi there. All of you guys that are currently in the stream, though, you do need to smash the like button if you enjoy these videos. It really helps me out, so appreciate it. I know you guys are definitely sick and tired of a bunch of YouTubers asking you guys to constantly smash the like button, but it is free to do so, and it really, really helps out the channel. So again, if you enjoy these videos and you like to keep them coming, please subscribe and smash the like button. Even better, if you want to do me one extra favor, then share my videos.
Divert capital from risk assets and risk ETFs like SPY, and you can see that these ETFs are doing that. It's going to be incorporated into a lot of funds like the BlackRock Global Opportunities Fund or the Strategic Income Opportunities Fund. And so as it's an asset class, as it goes into other funds, it's going to become structural. The halving is going to cut the organic supply of natural sellers in half around April 20th. That means there's only about $32 million a day of natural sellers.
That March to April is just crazy.
It's going to have to adjust up in order to meet that investor demand.
So hi there, Draw for Real.
What's going to happen next to the asset class.
In terms, though, of how investors should think about your company.
Yes, Tezos is up too, finally. Oh my God.
For Bitcoin, it was a way for investors, frankly, who didn't want to buy the underlying coins to get access to Bitcoin and exposure to Bitcoin. The question now, though, that these ETFs have been approved and folks are funneling money towards BlackRock and so many others, how should they think about your company versus doing that?
Yeah, so BlackRock is like the container ship or the super tanker of Bitcoin.
Super tanker. Okay, so Draw for Real said, I sold my Dogecoin and bought more BTC with proceeds. Okay, that's great. That's great. I mean, honestly, to each his own. Like, I'm not doing that. Obviously, I could. Obviously, you guys know that I have Dogecoins and a bunch of meme coins. Honestly, if I could time the market perfectly, it would have been very beautiful if I had sold my Dogecoins anytime, and then threw it into Bitcoin, obviously, when it was closer to $20,000 not so long ago, within the last 3 years. And then obviously now if I've more than 3x, I could take that out and throw it back into anything I want, Dogecoin or whatever. But I cannot time the market. And you guys know that I've held on to a lot of my positions now for over 365 days, or I guess this year will be 366 days. But yeah, after holding it for that long, I do have to think about the tax implications to it. I mean, you always have to think about taxes when you're selling anyways. But for me, I have to pretty much think about when I'm going to let go of like the largest bag, right? Maybe not the small bags I don't really think about. Like if I'm just selling like $5,000 or whatnot, like I don't really care about that. But if it's like in the 100,000s tier, or anything more than $50,000 for me, the way I see it is I have to make the right decision for that one. And so that's why I feel like I'm not moving it around as much. But I hope after I let go of the 365-day bags, that's when I'm going to be moving around crypto more freely without the care, because I'm just ready to pay, like, you know, the short-term capital gains, which is fine, Hi there, GTOLS. Thank you for all of you guys supporting the channel and smashing the like button. David says ETC is gonna have a surprise mega run. Well, I get it. I know ETC has done really, really insane run-ups. I mean, I was part of it, but I did not make money on ETC, if I can remember right, because I bought way high at the top. And this is already when, like, it was on the downhill run. So good luck to you guys. I hope the same thing kind of happens. I think a lot of us hope, and a lot of us bought into all these different altcoins for that very fact. Like, you've seen it in the past, so you hope that whatever happened in the past, history will repeat itself. And I will say a lot of it has obviously occurred. I mean, look at Bitcoin right now during its 4-year cycle, but definitely be careful, because I have some bags that have not moved
into their capital structure, and they can hold that very efficient, like 25 basis points. MicroStrategies like air freight, we got higher performance. So what's going on here? MicroStrategies got leverage. If we borrowed $800 million at 62 basis points, is there any company in the world that you wouldn't like to invest in that could borrow $1 billion at less than 1% interest to invest in your best idea? So we get that very intelligent leverage. It's non-recourse, it's unsecured, and then we buy Bitcoin with it. That leverage gives us volatility. It gives us performance. The performance gives us volatility. The volatility attracts capital, and we can then leverage more. It's kind of intelligent because it's convertible debt. It's given our shareholders more Bitcoin per share this week than they had a few weeks ago. So it's very accretive for them. And it's
okay, Bitcoin's come down a bit though. I mean, just doing it's just crazy, the volatility. But anyways, it is currently still up 3.93%, but it's at 72,100 right now at this hot minute. And the highest I can see it on Robinhood, at least, is 72,755. So I guess it hit over 72,755 today. This is great. I would love to know down in the comment section below, if you missed this live stream, like just how high you think it's going to go, at least today. We don't have to see it basically go past 100,000 today, but I'm curious as to like just how grand these movements are going to be. Like, will it actually jump to possibly $90,000, $80,000? I feel like $80,000 honestly is not even that much. Like, it sounds like a lot, but because Bitcoin is already at 72, like getting to 80,000 should not be that hard. I would actually be shocked if it could not even surpass 80,000 by the end of this week. That's my take. I'd love to see it happen today though. So I guess let's do a little poll, because I love polls. How much do you think BTC will be? Let's just say end of day EOD. We'll do already reached 72.7, so we'll just do 73 for the more conservative folks, and then we'll do 75 end of day, option 79, and the very bullish 80K plus. I'm more leaning towards like end of day 75. I think that's very much possible. Or I'm just being super bullish and watching too many Michael Saylor videos.
It's pretty compelling for every investor. If you're Bitcoin curious right now,
Bitcoin curious
at the all-time high, how do you get the upside in Bitcoin with downside protection? MicroStrategy sold $800 million in debt, and we have $13 billion of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So we're giving you an over-collateralized loan.
I'm going to keep the stream on. I'm just working while I'm talking to you guys because I have to do eBay work.
The ETFs charge you 25 basis points. MicroStrategy is accreting. We're giving you a yield against your shares in a tax-efficient fashion. So the maximalists like the equity. The hedgers, they kind of like the upside with downside protection. The traders love the vol. You know, we've got 100 vol asset here, and they just like the vol. So we're unique because you can't really trade options over ETFs. And an ETF isn't going to issue a convertible bond with upside to Bitcoin, but downside protection.
So Michael, I try to understand the mathematics, and I know people like you went to MIT, and it just seems maybe it's more understandable for you or Andreessen or Peter Thiel or whatever. At 17, down from 68, and you know your leverage and everything else. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have any doubt whatsoever? That's my one question. Because I was thinking about you at 17,000, and now I look at it now, and I just can't believe what you're.
That's crazy. I can't imagine living like Michael Saylor, to be honest, with that much money, borrowing so much money to buy Bitcoin. And I guess the thing for me is I do wonder, like, okay, I mean, does anyone else think about the fact that why didn't he just buy so much more? Like, did he cap out? Like, did he cap out when he could have, when it was like near $20,000, like during the great downfall? Or is he kind of buying, you know, just kind of dollar cost averaging with his company, nonstop buying crypto or Bitcoin specifically right now because it kind of helps push up Bitcoin? Like, is he doing this because it technically helps the price of Bitcoin, knowing that a company like MicroStrategy is pouring money into it like crazy as we're on the ride up? Because I personally think he's doing it because it helps actually drive up the price. Because had he, let's say, spent every single dime, borrowed everything he could 2 years ago when nobody really cared about Bitcoin, it wouldn't have the same effect as now, where like every once in a while Bitcoin rides up and you're like, oh my God, Michael Saylor just bought another 800 million more. That actually helps drive up the price even more, right? Because it gives confidence to a lot of people, like middle class, whatnot, anybody who can afford it, regular folks. I feel like it could be that. That's just me. But let me know what you think.
Based on it now, I guess. And the other thing is, when it halves, should we? If we look at it on stock to flow, do we have to just double what the potential price is based on, if you use that metric? Is that a valid metric to use? And after the halving, shouldn't it be 140,000 immediately if it's worth 72 now?
Two good questions, and thanks for asking me. First, with regard to Bitcoin, no, there's no doubt in my mind Bitcoin was a better investment at 17,000 than it was at 65,000. I take the Warren Buffett view on this. Bitcoin's a superior investment to gold, equity bonds, and real estate because it's digital. You can trade it 1 million times faster than conventional assets using a computer. It's available. Most other assets only trade less than 20% of the time. Bitcoin's trading 168 hours a week. We bought $800 million of Bitcoin, and a lot of it we bought over the weekend when all the conventional markets are closed. It's global. It's the most widely recognized and trusted investment asset in the world right now. It's ethical because it's the king of all commodities. There's no issuer. There's no company. There's no country controlling it. And fundamentally, it's useful. Thousands of market makers can trade it all the time. Millions of companies can trade it. Billions of people. If you want to buy a house on Saturday in Africa, this is the way to do it. If you want to buy a car,
if you want to buy a house on Saturday in Africa,
this is the way to do it. So it's a pretty
nice to be that
great
rich
asset. It's the greatest of the assets, in my opinion. There's no second best asset. So I didn't have any question about it. We're just waiting for the rest of the world to realize.
There's no second best asset. Spoken like a true BTC maxi. I like to disagree. I think there is a second best asset, and it is Ethereum. The third best asset, in my opinion, is Dogecoin and XRP. Honestly, XRP, the speed of XRP is just insane. Like, just if you ever did any transfers with Dogecoin and with XRP, how cheap it is, how insanely mind-blowingly quick that is. Like, you've got to try it. Again, not financial advice, but yeah. So disagree with Michael Saylor on that one, but I still love him.
How good it is.
Oh, more
Today, Bitcoin
more crypto
breaks through
news.
$72,000 for the very first time. Former President Donald Trump signals he's more open to cryptocurrencies. And Sandy Carter of Unstoppable Domains explains how developers are making blockchain and AI work together.
Oh yeah, I heard about that on the news today. Apparently Trump said that I think he's still a traditionalist or whatever, so he's still obviously all about like just regular fiat currency, but that he sees Bitcoin moving up and he's not like against it. I think that's what he said. Anyways, you guys can listen in, but that might be helping.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Bitcoin keeping its momentum through the weekend, breaking above $72,000 for the very first time this morning.
Woo.
By noon Eastern, it jumped nearly 4%, but briefly touched a fresh record of $72,750 earlier this morning. By midday, Ether climbed more than 3%, trading above the $4,000 mark after hitting its highest level since December 2021 this morning. And Solana also rose more than 3%, inching closer to $150. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. MicroStrategy just bought 12,000 more Bitcoin to add to its stockpile. Michael Saylor, the company's executive chairman, posted on X this morning that the company spent about $822 million worth of Bitcoin using cash and money generated by a convertible note sale, something the company announced last week. Saylor also said that the company now holds around 205,000 Bitcoin.
Oh my God. He has 205,000 Bitcoin. Okay, let's do the math on that. What is that? What is 200? Okay. Hold on. Where's my phone? No, Bitcoin's okay. Bitcoin's under 72 now. It's 71. Okay. The 205,000 Bitcoin is what MicroStrategy has multiplied by, let's just say 72,000 at its all-time high today, 72,500. Did I get that right? Is it 1.4 billion? I think it's 1.4. Okay, wait, no, let me turn it like this. I think it showed up weird. Hold on. 205,000 times 72,550. Okay, I'll do that. That's 14 billion. So he has $14 billion. 14. That's what I got. $14 billion supposedly in Bitcoin, if he has all that he says he has. I'm thinking 72. Bert says. I mean, it's looking like it's going down right now, but I don't know, guys. The day is long. It's only like, this is like the earliest stream I've ever done. It's not even. It's just hitting 1 p.m. right now. And the fact that Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, who knows where it's going to be by the end of the night. I just hope everything else does a movement now. Like, what I love about Bitcoin is that even though I don't have it, and I kick myself for it every single day, but it's fine. Even though I don't have it, it moves up all the other altcoins, right? Like, I don't even see Ethereum as like an altcoin, even though technically it is, but it literally moves up everything else. I mean, XRP is outperforming Bitcoin right now for some reason, up 19%. Like, look at that crazy spike. SHIB is just not doing well right now. It's down at 0.0000325, down 1.32% right now. But literally everything else is in the green, doing better than ever thanks to Bitcoin. Coinbase. Today, the stock market didn't do well. I don't know if everybody just kind of pulled their money out of the stock market. It just went YOLOing into crypto or Bitcoin right now. But I do see the FOMO coming back. But I will also say this. So recently I had a dinner with a bunch of friends and people of different fields, let's just say. Most of the people I know still do not believe in Bitcoin. I will say out of like, let's say out of 10 people I know, one. Actually, no, I would put it, the ratio is more like 1 out of 20 people I know is actually heavily purchasing Bitcoin. And when I say heavily purchasing Bitcoin, I just mean trying with their excess money, right? Like, not actually taking out a loan, which I do not recommend, and putting in everything, like that Bitcoin family who just like literally sold their motorcycle, sold everything that they could and YOLOing. I don't know anybody like that. Let me know if you do. I'm sure there's tons. It's just not my circle. But yeah, like there's a lot there's still not that many people, in my opinion, that actually believe in it enough to be like even selling out their Tesla stocks, their Apple stocks, Microsoft, like just getting rid of most of their stocks to just put it all into Bitcoin, and to have put it into Bitcoin on the way up, like from around 50,000, and even when it reached the old all-time high. But I could see that people are starting to give more attention to it, and being, like Michael Saylor said, Bitcoin curious, as we are getting further and further away from that old all-time high. The thing that scares people the most, and I think it's very valid, is the fact that it's so volatile. It's so volatile that we can't forget about the fact that, not even talk about Bitcoin, just take ETH first example, right? Because I'm also really regretting the fact that I just didn't buy so much ETH. But ETH, even though I missed it when it was around like 200 something bucks, and multimillionaires were made during the pandemic when some people just YOLO'd all their money into Ethereum when it was like around $200, $250 back in like 2020. So even if you missed that boat, you could have still gotten Ethereum after it hit $4,800 of an all-time high, like in 2021. After Ethereum hit that all-time high of around 4,800 in 2021, it dropped to like basically $1,000, right? Like that's almost only 1/5 of the price. So I hope this time, this bull run, like for example, Ethereum, obviously, because I'm holding some, I wanted to go to like 10 G's, right? So like, let's say it goes to $10,000, but do I believe it could easily go back down to 1/5 of the price, meaning like maybe $2,000 this time? Absolutely. Will I be happy about it this time? Yes, only if I had sold then to only buy in. And I can't imagine any whales out there with real money, like way more money than all of us put together. I can't imagine they don't see this and don't think about this and aren't going to use this, right? Like I definitely think that as much as people believe, okay, like, oh, now Bitcoin's changed. Okay, now because of spot Bitcoin ETFs, okay, no, it's gonna hold. It's really gonna hold its price. It's not gonna be so volatile anymore. I don't know. I don't really believe in that. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't really see Bitcoin and Ethereum, and no matter what type of crypto it is, to be safe from at least a 30 to 50% drop because of what we've seen in the past, right? Like I think it's just so easy for wealthy people to kind of just play around with the markets, cash in, cash out, and play around with these 4-year cycles, that I don't think they would give that up. Would you give that up? No. So yeah, I'm going to try and not hold on. And if I'm wrong and Ethereum and Bitcoin actually holds its price and I never get to go back in at a super cheap price anymore, I'm also okay with that. Okay with just following my gut instinct.
He also came on Squawk Box this morning to talk about the Bitcoin buy. Here's what he had to say.
What's going on here? MicroStrategy's got leverage. If we borrowed $800 million at 62 basis points, is there any company in the world that you wouldn't like to invest in that could borrow $1 billion at less than 1% interest to invest in your best idea? So we get that very intelligent leverage. It's non-recourse, it's unsecured, and then we buy Bitcoin with it. That leverage gives us volatility. It gives us performance. The performance gives us volatility. The volatility attracts capital, and we can then leverage more. It's kind of intelligent because it's convertible debt. It's given our shareholders more Bitcoin per share this week than they had a few weeks ago.
Next, former President Donald Trump also joined Squawk Box this morning, where he talked crypto. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee said that he doesn't own any Bitcoin, but suggested he might not crack down on the crypto industry.
It's an additional form of currency. And I used to say, I want one currency. I want the dollar. I don't want people leaving the dollar. And I feel that way, but I will tell you, it has taken on a life.
Now, this is a notable change from...
It has taken on a life, he says.
Previously expressed concerns that crypto could weaken the U.S. dollar's global standing. Plus, the UK's financial regulator has opened the door to crypto-related exchange-traded products. In a notice this morning, the Financial Conduct Authority said that it would not object to requests from recognized investment exchanges to create UK-listed crypto-backed exchange-traded notes, or ETFs. Now, these are different than ETFs in that issuers wouldn't have to hold the asset itself, And these products would only be available to institutions, not retail investors.
So UK opens the door to crypto exchange traded products, but not to just basic retail investors like you and I. More for the institutions. I think that's what's happening right now, which I think is really positive.
Said it would accept applications for Bitcoin and Ether ETNs starting in the second quarter. The change comes after the US's own exchange traded products have seen a wave of adoption. All right, let's head down to Texas.
That's actually a lot of positive news if you think about it. Like Trump spoke about crypto, but not in a way where he's like, yeah, let's go crypto, I'm gonna buy some, and have the US basically invest into it if I'm POTUS ever. I don't know what that would really do to his election year. But anyways, Trump basically didn't say anything bad about Bitcoin, about banning. Today he did talk about Today, apparently, Meta stock went down because he did speak badly about Facebook. And I love how he's still calling it Facebook, even though they changed their name to Meta, but whatever. We all still know it as Facebook. He was saying how like TikTok is basically better than Facebook. And if TikTok is gone, then that would give more power to Facebook. So then Facebook stock went down. That's what people speculate. And that's what I'm hearing. But I think that's pretty funny. The power of a previous POTUS. And who knows if he's going to be the first American president to have a second running, even though there was a gap in between. Like apparently that's never happened before. So that's what I'm hearing. I have no idea who's going to win, who's going to be the president of the United States for next year. That is a pretty wild thing on its own. And I think that's definitely going to play a huge role into the stock market. And I guess also a big role for TikTok now, because I think TikTok's pretty safe now. If Trump does get elected, that'll be interesting. Yeah, he calls Zuckerbucks, I think. But yes, so we got the Trump semi like pro crypto news, and then I guess with the UK being more accepting now also is very good news. And again, like I said, this month is pretty wild. And then next month should be crazier with the halving and just kind of what will happen. But we got the results in for my poll over here. You guys think that tonight, end of day, we're going to get Bitcoin at 75,000. I hope so. Nobody really knows. Right now, I think we're doing like a little mini correction. That's what I saw earlier. Let's see. Yeah, but stock market was not too good today. Stock market kind of doing a correction. Oh no, we're good. Bitcoin's still at 72 right now, but 72,242. I'm gonna run. I just really want to see it hit like 73 or something. So I'm gonna be over here, still around, chat amongst yourselves, and hopefully we can listen to some news while we get Bitcoin eventually hit 73,000.
Our main story. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sagallo spoke with Sandy Carter, the COO of Unstoppable Domains and a keynote speaker at this year's South by Southwest conference in Austin. They discussed the state of Web3 adoption and how developers are bringing blockchain and AI together.
So last time we spoke here on Crypto World was at South by Southwest in 2022, and you said that Web3 was still in the dial-up phase. So a lot has happened since that conversation, and I'm wondering, where do you see things now? Have we moved past that dial-up moment?
I think we still have a ways to go, Mackenzie. I think it's going to be still a little while before.
By the way, guys, really appreciate all of you that are in here. And again, to support my channel, please make sure you are subscribed and smash the like button. Check out all the links I have down in the description below. And let's continue.
Where people adopt en masse. However, we now have 4 million people using their digital identity on Web3. We see crypto at breaking levels right now. We're seeing more and more usage, especially around tokenization. You know, taking a physical asset and placing its digital ownership on the blockchain or on chain. And so we are seeing a lot of progress. I still think we're in that dial-up phase, though. I still think we have that 5 to 10 years to go that we chatted about last time.
So you're at South by Southwest, and the question to you, you mentioned those record-breaking numbers that we've been saying in terms of crypto tokens moving higher, Bitcoin, Ether, and a whole lot of altcoins have seen tremendous upswing. What are people saying on the ground there? I mean, we're both in Austin at opposite ends of town right now, but what have your conversations looked like?
Yeah, most of my conversations have been going after the shiny object, which is AI. And so I did 3 panels on Friday, 3 panels on Saturday, and then a keynote on Sunday with 2 follow-up sessions. Basically, all of those were blockchain-based, Web3-based, but every question was about AI plus blockchain. And we do see a lot of synergy there. In fact, I believe, Mackenzie, that blockchain will be pushed forward because of the gaps in AI. For example, ownership, monetization, transparency. We're already seeing it, breaking, I think it was yesterday, was a story of Princess Kate, a picture that was manipulated by AI, but presented as a real picture. How do you prevent people from thinking something is real if it's not? Blockchain is a great way to do that. You can do a signature on it. You have trust verification. I just see.
Oh my God, I just want to comment on that. So I did hear about that. I don't know if you did too. So you can go look this up right now. Apparently Kate, the princess of whatever, I don't even know what her proper title is, whatever, but Prince Williams? Is it Prince? Yes, it's Prince Harry, Prince William. Sorry, I'm not really good with my prince and princess, but it's Prince William's wife, Princess Kate. Apparently she's been kind of sick or whatever, or she's been out of the media for a while, and then all of a sudden yesterday was a day, I think an image was released of her and her, I think 3 kids, and then everybody was like, that's fake, that's not real, that's AI generated, because apparently if you are in the business of generating AI images, then you kind of know that the fingers are not good. It's something with, I guess, all the images, but if you generate a lot of AI images, you'll be able to see that you can't really do if you told your AI to do let's say a really complex hand thing gesture, or even a simple one, it's not really nice. And then also the teeth, the mouth has a specific look. So yesterday when that image was released, everybody's like, that's not real. So I don't know how the royal family really responded back to that. I guess they're talking about it right now on CNBC, but doesn't, I don't know. I'll believe it when I actually hear an actual interview from the royal family and how they're going to defend themselves. So I don't know. I don't know if it's real or fake, because I saw the picture. It looks really nice. It looks overly perfect. But then again, that's Hollywood for you. So I kind of put Hollywood and the royal family in a similar category, because I mean, they're kind of all celebrities in a sense. But yeah, it looked really nice, but I'm not a pro, so I wouldn't be able to tell oh my God, that's for sure an AI generated image. And to be honest, sometimes I feel it's hard for people to distinguish what is real, what is fake anymore, especially just even before all this AI talk, right? Because we have so many beauty tricks now, right? If you look at someone now, even take myself for example, the amount of makeup I have on my face versus somebody from the 1800s who doesn't have access to that, we're going to look completely different, right? People, I feel in the 1800s, without the technology, minus even technology, just minus the ability to have all that makeup, all the makeup skills that's easily you could access on the internet, it's just easier to know that what you're seeing is what you're seeing back in the 1800s versus now, where it's I got my makeup, I got my, well, I mean, this is a live stream, so I can't really use a beauty filter, but if I'm using TikTok, heck yes, I could use a beauty filter. You can do an entire TikTok live stream looking like you're 80 years old, even though you're 20 years old, because they have the old age filters and then they have the beauty filters, and it can look really nothing like me, or a very enhanced version of myself, which I constantly make short videos where you'll see I'll look very different because it has different beauty filters, it'll have different makeup, fake eyelashes, the whole thing, anything you can really imagine. But yeah, so I would argue everything's not that real anymore, and it's hard for people to distinguish. And then some people are just insanely beautiful, so they're actually real, but
so many places
people won't believe it.
Between blockchain and AI. I do believe that blockchain will have its time in the sun with tokenization. But right now that everybody's chasing the shiny object, I do think understanding how blockchain and AI fit together is a very important lesson, and something that I've been sharing here at South by.
Do you think about decentralized identities at all, and how that might factor into authenticity of who you are online, avoiding again the deep fake conundrum that comes up with AI. It's something that the team over at Block, Jack Dorsey's company, has certainly been working on among many others. Is that something that you've also thought about?
Yeah, in fact, that is what Unstoppable does. We produce a on-chain digital identity. It's decentralized, so because it's on-chain. And what we're preparing for and seeing today is, where do you store all those tokens? So if you've got a token for your baby item, if you have a token for your car title like California's doing, if you have a token for your attendance at the NFL Super Bowl, where do you place all of those? Well, today you could place those in an Unstoppable digital identity. We also have been working really hard on trust verification. And what does that mean? Well, you know, we've had that picture of the Pope that was floating around in his Ballman puffer jacket. We could have done a verification through an Unstoppable domain to prove that it was real or not real. I think those kind of things are going to be quite useful in the future. And right now we have over 4 million of those digital identities in the world. Our mission is to get a digital identity in the hands of every single person. It's about 7 billion. So we still have a long way to go, but 4 million, a lot of progress since the last time we chatted. And if you're interested, we also are announcing a new TLD here at South by Southwest.
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
What do we need to know?
Yeah. So tomorrow, with the Greater Austin Asia Chamber of Commerce, we're announcing .Austin. It will be the first city.
I mean, Ruination, I could be a bot. I don't know. If we've never met, you just don't know, right?
There are others who have done a Web 2 TLD, but it's not on chain. So this one in particular will be on chain. So this will enable, you know, businesses, members of the Asian Chamber of Commerce. To
if I was a bot, I'd be better at trading.
They'll be able to do encrypted chats together, to you know, plan events, to decide what education they need, to provide feedback. It's a really powerful another way to express that use case of using blockchain with a public sector, you know, entity or group as well.
Going back to crypto, I feel like these bull runs always have the net effect of bringing more people back into the ecosystem. Certainly the spot Bitcoin ETFs have been a huge driver of institutional money coming into the space in a way that it hasn't before. We're finally seeing venture money return. I feel like a lot of those venture dollars dried up and went over to AI during the last bear market. I guess my question to you is more, what do you think it will take to pull interest back to Web3, back to these layer 2 startups? We're starting to see that build momentum, but what else needs to happen?
I think it's all these use cases. I mean, you asked the right question, Mackenzie. What is the real tangible use case? I think that's when we're going to start getting funding again. And that's when we're going to start seeing a lot of the, you know, the movement going forward. For example, you know, I'll just give you this one. So we did a .pudgy. This is a pudgy penguin. We did a .pudgy launch, and this little animal has a tokenized ownership. So this is a physical item, but you can tokenize.
She's holding a stuffed penguin.
This, and then what you do is you get into this really cool game called Pudgy World. That's a great use case, especially for the next generation. Like, my daughters are so excited to go into Pudgy World. It's a great use case for that tokenization in a particular segment. And I really applaud the Pudgy Penguins, because what they've done is they've gone to Web 2 instead of asking Web 2 to come to them. They've created a use case, a set of demand that is really powerful. I think we need more of those out there today.
So it's Women's History Month. International Women's Day was just on Friday. You're a hugely prominent woman working in this space.
Oh my God, I didn't know Friday was International Women's Day.
Female devs and entrepreneurs.
I'm such a fail woman. All I care about is prices of Bitcoin and Dogecoin on Friday.
A small amount. I think we need to move the needle much, much more. And I think it means, in my mind, Mackenzie, where I focus my time this International Women's Day was on getting more female founders funded. You know, I've been hearing for a long time, well, Sandy, it's all about the business case, right? It's not personal, it's business. But recently, Emory University came out with a study that showed that female founders
Her name's
are
Sandy
actually
Carter.
15% more profitable. and 40% less likely to get funded. So it's not the business, guys. It's not, maybe, it's something else that we have to figure out. So I'm actually going to dedicate 2024 to helping figure out what actions can we take to get more female founders funded, especially in this Web3 and AI space.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Ooh, something on NVIDIA. Okay, let's watch this.
I think, Amy, our focus
2 hours
on
ago.
NVIDIA, which is red again, too. Now, a few moments ago it was green.
But oh my God, NVIDIA is still at $873. Calm down. Still good.
Unwind is coming. We haven't seen you in a few weeks, and you've been trimming this name like many others who sat on this desk.
Yeah, we've owned this name for a very long time. When a stock doubles and it's a relatively big position in 3 months, I think it's prudent to trim. So we trimmed lower than where it is right now, but that's okay. We still own the stock. It has a perfect setup right now. It has buy a lot of cash flow, concentrated positions, too little capacity, too much demand. So we think
is there still too much demand on NVIDIA though? But I will say that it's nice to see NVIDIA fail. I'm just kidding. It's nice to see NVIDIA not do good right now and the rest of the stock market, whereas Bitcoin's killing it. So it's kind of good to see at least the stock is like, for a while there, we were seeing NVIDIA move up and Coinbase stocks move up with Bitcoin. I'm actually okay with just stock market dropping a bit and then have that, all of that funding move over, transfer over to the global crypto market cap. Is it crashing right now? Hold on, let me see.
In the near term, but from a long-term
I want to see how much is in the global crypto market cap.
Jimmy, bulls are still out though. Cantor today, price target to 1,200 from 900. So as the stock has elevated, the chase has continued on the street, and you keep getting
I'm looking on
targets go up and away.
coin market cap right now. It's 2.71 trillion.
That was a
it's not 3 yet. But Bitcoin is at 72,172. ETH at 4,034.
Well,
pretty great.
I do think we need to pay attention to this stock more than any other in the market, but I think there are other stocks to pay attention to. Now, having answered your question, I will say that at some point NVIDIA is going to roll over and correct, but not something worse than that. The bears are going to point out the multiple, and I think it's around 35 times forward earnings. Going to say, wow, that's really expensive for a chip stock. This is a chip stock that's growing its earnings something like 50% year over year. Folks, at some point that will come to a stop. It's just not going to stop anytime soon.
Agreed.
At some point you'll get the double and triple ordering. That leads to inventory gluts, but there's no indication of that right now. So if there is a correction, 5-10%, I do expect the dip buyers to come in on NVIDIA. Having said that, if you've owned NVIDIA, and Amy just talked about, trimming it because you've owned it for a while. I mean, I've owned it for 8 months. It's up 100% in that 8 months. It's incredible. At some point, you do have to trim these. I've got other stocks in the space. Look, I'm at 14% in the chip space, not because I'm some hero, but because the chip space overall has just rocketed. At some point, you have to think about taking money off the table. For me, frankly, the trigger is going to probably be CPI tomorrow. We think it's coming in a little hot, but, as long as it's in line with expectations, this trade continues. If it's too hot, then maybe that's the time to take off some money from this chip trade.
Weiss, I'm wondering who else is in danger of any kind of rollover from the chip trade that's been.
Oh, speaking of CPI data, I just watched someone do an analysis on like what the Fed could do. Sorry, I forgot the YouTube channel, but they were talking about how the Fed had already said there's going to be they're going to do three rate cuts this year, but nobody knows when. So I think a lot of people are thinking that it's actually going to start in July. I mean, it would be amazing if they started this month. But generally, I think what's in the news right now, or most economists are just thinking that that's not going to happen. So I hope we get surprised and there's actually a rate cut. I feel like rate cuts would be just overall better for real estate, for the stock market. But real estate's like a tough one. I actually want to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I was having this chat with my friend, and she was, because she knows I really want to buy a house, and she was saying how that she recommends, of course, not financial advice, that if I do sell crypto, I could, buy a house. And once the rates go down, after I buy it with cash, I could just take out and like refinance and take out a mortgage later on, right? So then I can get some cash at a lower rate. So she says that I could consider that. But for me, at least the houses right now in LA is so expensive that I don't know. I cannot say what will happen in the future, but I hope, because of the fact that the interest rates are so high, that nobody who wants to sell their home has anywhere to go, because then they can't fork out like such high mortgage rates, 30-year, whether you're 30-year, 15-year or whatnot. I'm hoping that when the rates decrease, there's just going to be more houses out there, because there's just not enough homes out there for sale right now. That's why I feel like I'm not going to get a good price at the end of the day. And I would like to buy cash, so I guess the rate doesn't really matter for me. And because I plan on living in it, worst case scenario, even if I, let's say, buy a place for like $800,000 and then it drops to like $500,000, I think I could live with that because I plan on living in it. But let me know what you recommend, like knowing what I want, knowing that I do want to purchase a home. Doesn't have to be like right now, but I do want it within the next, like, from now till the end of 2025. I want the house. I also want to be in a good financial position, which is why I also like to hodl some cash for the next bear market, whether it's investing in a bunch of stocks or investing in a bunch of crypto. But that's pretty much what I want to do. I don't want to just have all my money in a house either, because I prefer to have it in like a high yield interest account.
Not just the SMH, which is reflective of the trade itself, but since November 1st, Super Micro's up 350%. 350%. Yeah. You got ARM and AMD are up more than 100% respectively. Taiwan Semi's up 63%, gets another positive call today. Qualcomm's up 56%. Broadcom's up 53%. And there are others.
Should have gotten ARM Holdings.
Do we need to look down that list
AMD.
and say, okay, that one could be in trouble. That one looks like it's susceptible. Maybe the AI halo got a little bit above or ahead of the fundamentals. How do you look at this? But you own Taiwan Semi, right?
I do own Taiwan Semi, and Taiwan Semi, to Amy's point, that stock, I bought it fourth quarter last year. It's up 50%.
TSM.
I mean, that's just unusual. And I had trimmed Taiwan Semi. Took a little off. That's just prudent because it just got to be too big a position. But it's a very easy answer to your question, actually. Just go and look at NVIDIA reported after the close. Just go and look at what the top performers, what the stocks that did the most on the day after they reported, and that'll tell you what's more susceptible than others. Look, I think that some are clearly ahead of themselves. Some clearly have no valuation support. I don't know that NVIDIA is there. I mean, forget about what the stock's done, 35 times forward. And Jim had it right if you're going to keep growing your earnings 50%. But they won't keep growing 50%. And that's really the issue. So the point is, where are you going to get off? Now, I think that there is a lot of people that want to come into it still that haven't bought it yet.
NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA, so that keeps them...
Who still has money to go into NVIDIA if they didn't go into NVIDIA like 3 weeks ago?
We're here. I own very little of it. I just bought it on a dip last week. And for me, it's just not that important to my portfolio, but Taiwan Semi is.
So Taiwan Semi today, price target goes to 150 from 125 at Bernstein. Reiterated outperform. They expect stronger growth.
It's a market multiple.
Second half of this year.
It's a market multiple, and guess what? If you own it,
it says TSMC when to take chips off the table. Reiterate outperform rating. Raise target to 150 from 125. Expect gross margin to beat. Attractive valuation versus peers.
You just got to look at Taiwan Semi, because guess who is manufacturing those chips for them and for all the others? So they're basically the supplier in an arms race. They're supplied to all of them. They're sort of company agnostic. You've got to get a major part of their production, but also, ASML. We were just talking about it right before this, and they've just got new products coming out. They will be arming Meta and Microsoft and Intel. So I mentioned last week. So Amy's owned it for a while. I assume I own it. I think the future's extremely bright there, but it's not cheap. If you go out a year and a half, it's 25 times, right? But right now, it's not cheap.
This is a question really about momentum, which is why I saved Joe for last. your whole investing strategy professionally is around momentum, obviously. So if you look at, whether we're in early stages, early innings, if you will, of a momentum rollover, where you're going to have money going into the laggards. I mean,
I'm just going to add to this. Like, I really wish I was more educated on NVIDIA and the chips and how everything works, because there's just so much of it. I tried to learn about it in the past month, and I feel like I still just know like barely 10%. I could barely explain to you. And I really couldn't tell like who was making the GPUs versus the CPUs, and the importance of NVIDIA and the growth of like AI and all these AI images that we see. You need like GPUs. So you need NVIDIA. But these are things that I just do not know. I'm not in tech, and I wasn't, but I can't blame it honestly on the fact that I'm not in tech. I just should have educated myself more on that, because it would have honestly been life-changing money as well to have invested in NVIDIA. And I'm honestly just really grateful for crypto. Like, thinking back, even though I didn't invest as much as someone who would definitely be a multimillionaire right now if they bought a whole bunch of Ethereum. And it hurts because I could have been if I believed it enough and put aside a lot of money that I spent on stupid things. Like, now thinking about all the shoes I bought, all the jewelry I bought, I'm not even kidding you. Like, it just hurts today. Like, I am thinking to the Cartier rings that I spent money on. Just stupid Tiffany jewelry that's in the thousands range. Like, if I just spent $5,000 in 2020 on Ethereum, that would be like so much money right now. We'll do the math together. I was doing the math last night and I was so pissed. Hold on. So it's okay. Just learn every step of the way. And I hope some of you guys that are younger than me, you can take my mistakes and hopefully invest earlier than me, because I honestly didn't start to invest. See, I started as soon as I could, like I think around like 19. I like dabbled with it quickly, but I have never really seriously traded until like in my 20s. So I really wish I could go back in time and start earlier, but it's okay. If I had put in, let's say $5,000 divided by how much was Ethereum at the time, let's just say 250, give or take. I could have gotten 20 Ethereums at the time. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah, $5,000 even, instead of on stupid jewelry, which is worth less than $5,000 if you think about it, because you buy $5,000 worth of jewelry and you ask somebody to sell it even the next day, it's not going to be worth $5,000 anymore, right? Because it's only $5,000 when you buy it out of the store and it's new. So if I had bought Ethereum 250 each, I would have 20 Ethereums at the current price of even $4,000. That would be a whopping $80,000. So it just really goes to show the choices in life and what you do and how it could really pay off. I mean, not that I didn't buy Ethereum, but obviously I didn't buy them all at 2 something. I bought like maybe 2 and I was like, oh, that's good. That's enough.
Meta, Amazon, Salesforce, Broadcom, Uber, Microsoft, they're all lower. Apple, Tesla, Alphabet are all higher. That's telltale sign of a rotation from momentum into laggards. You're all over.
Doing my squats, by the way. Hope you guys are also exercising, drinking water while you're watching my streams.
Or your CrowdStrike or your Palantir, your Broadcom, your Salesforce, your Arista, your ServiceNow. And that's just for starters.
Or
you have
working.
all of these holdings within the JOT, and all of them are up unbelievably from the most recent bottom.
Yes, and that is why I have the overlay of quality on top of momentum. Exactly for the environment that you're in now, when momentum begins to roll over, you don't have the exposure to the single factor. But let me speak exactly towards what's going on right now within the market. The concern that I have is this is going to be the next several weeks going into the Federal Reserve meeting, one of the more dangerous periods of 2024 for investors, because they're going to be
attempting to make decisions based on the price performance of the past. Really, no new fundamental information. We're past the earnings season. And right now, the technicals are in control of the market. It's obvious that momentum has broken. Now technical factors are taking place. You look at NVIDIA, okay? You have to know your technicals in NVIDIA. NVIDIA, the low last week was 834. The low this morning is 841. So that's a support area. But the technicals are going to be in control for the next several weeks. And the technicals don't set up well. And no, I don't think this is over where we see a momentum correction, because what you're also witnessing is you really don't see a significant broadening out with a lot of momentum. Now, overnight, Japan broke down. Have we seen crypto break down? That's arguably the hottest area of momentum in the market right now. So I think there's more to go in cooling off this white hot momentum that we've had so far year to date. And I just urge the viewers to understand that the process of correcting momentum is technically oriented. That's a dangerous place to be. We don't have fundamentals. This market, for all of the...
Good question. B-Ray's like, I wonder if NVIDIA is going thousands just on the psychological level. I don't know. I think maybe it's just the bear in me because I missed out. So it's kind of like the salty people who are like, I don't believe in Bitcoin because they missed out. It could be that. Or I just really don't. Or I think it's just honestly like it's hit peak and people put enough money into it that like the smart money folks who are like, okay, this is like euphoria now. And all the other people are just throwing their money in, but they're going to basically be holding the bag. I don't think it's going to go over 1,000 this year. That is, I have no idea what will happen next year, right? Also depends on who's elected. But usually election years are supposed to be bullish. But anyways, I don't personally think that it's going to go over 1,000. I actually want to know how much you guys think it can go down and when it drops. So we'll make that into a poll. For me, I really wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA goes to 900 something. And then when it correct all the way down to like the lows of like 690. That might just be me, but let me know what you guys think. If you missed the stream, comment section down below how low you think NVIDIA could possibly go. We can do a little poll here. Let me just end this one since you guys think apparently Bitcoin's going to hit 80,000 by the end of the night. I hope you're right. Okay, let's do this. So I'll start another one. How much, how low can NVIDIA go? NVIDIA go when correction comes. Or some may argue it's already here. I will say, well, we'll give it like 700. Then we'll do $700 and then we'll try like 650. I'll just do more bearish $500. Or if you think it's always going to stay up, then maybe just 800 at the lowest. So I'll start the poll. You guys can let me know what you think. Don't let my bearish vibes get to you.
Momentum slash froth slash exuberance slash euphoria has had this incredible ability over the last couple of years, if not longer, to self-correct without falling apart. You could go, SPACs corrected, NFTs corrected,
Tesla corrected,
nonsense self-corrected. So maybe you got these momentum names ahead of themselves. They're correct, but you have the rotation. So if money's coming out of NVIDIA, maybe it's finding a home at Apple, or maybe it's coming back into Tesla, or maybe it's going into Alphabet.
Well, let's also not lose.
I honestly hope money comes out of NVIDIA just in time for me to catch up on some Tesla stocks.
The S&P 500. Now it's only 2 weeks.
Equal weight, okay. There's a new high last week for the equal weight S&P 500. Did you realize that almost 1/5 of that index hit a new 52-week high recently? That's according to the spoke. So it's not like you've had a vacuum. You've had these stocks at the top go down, and then nothing else is shoring up the foundation.
Yeah, well, that's the point. The broadening is happening. I mean, it's possible for the rest of the market to come up to meet where the Magnificent Seven or Fabulous Five, whatever they are. It's possible for them to come up and meet that performance, and I think it's happening. You know, Joe, I do see the broadening. I just mentioned in equal weight and in small caps, but I don't see quite the breakdown that we're talking about here in terms of momentum. I see, you know, Nvidia's up 2.5% over the last week. You know, that's pretty strong momentum. I mean, if we look at Friday, sure, it was down, but I mean, that's just one day.
Oh, that's over. I'm going to listen to Kathy Wood.
Let's
This was from
talk
2
about
days
the
ago.
Economic backdrop, because your roots, right? When you started out, you are.
This is 2 days ago, guys.
And you think about things, the macro environment, the jobs report today, some strength, maybe some concerns about things starting to slow down. What does the U.S. economic environment look like to you, the business environment as well, and what it means for some of your investments?
Sure. It looks like that corporations are losing pricing power, and we are now beginning to see the unemployment rate move up. It went up to 3.9% in this latest report, from a low of 3.4%. So undeniably, it's on its way up now. And we do think it's because corporations are losing pricing power, their margins are getting hit. It's going to cause a couple of things. One, the labor hoarding that we've seen since COVID is going to diminish, and that will increase the unemployment rate. But then the second thing is it will accelerate the adoption of technologies. Innovation solves problems, and one of the things that it does is increase productivity, increase efficiency, and create new products and services. So we're pretty optimistic about our strategy in this environment because interest rates should come down. I think that the Fed, even the Fed, is going to be surprised at how low inflation goes. We think it could be negative this year.
Well, so Kathy, let me ask you, that's interesting. I mean, if the expectations, at least according to traders right now, is that the first rate cut comes in June, is that too late in your view for the Fed to start cutting rates?
Well, I think the 24-fold increase in interest rates in little more than a year has shocked the system. We're beginning to see a reverberation of the regional bank issues. We don't think they are going away. Deposits are still outflowing broadly from the banking system. And there are increasing problems with commercial real estate. Most people know about the office problems, but multifamily units, multifamily apartments, we're beginning to see some distressed sales there as well. So I think that problem isn't as well understood, I think, and it's going to cause the regional banks even more problems.
Kathy, how quickly do you think unemployment can go up this year? What are you forecasting over at ARK?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the unemployment rate go above 5%. Now, I'm saying that knowing that this is an election year and that this administration probably will try and spend more through executive order.
All right, so about percent. Well, that's interesting. All right, so we have a good idea of your economic and kind of macro backdrop. Having said that, so here we are sitting on a day where we're seeing 20% year to date. Picking an individual name like an Nvidia up more than 80%, and I could go on and on and on.
It literally like brought up the entire market if you think about it. It's absolutely wild. Here we got 33% of the people voting for $700 for Nvidia.
Years that ended in the teching for 25 or 30 years. So we believe we're ready for prime time. The one place where we could see a correction, and it's just a correction, we're not calling it the end of this at all, is in the chip space. Now we're seeing lead times, we believe, come down for GPUs, for NVIDIA in particular, from the 8 to 11 month range to the 3 to 4 month range. So that is suggesting that as the word shortage was making the rounds, that those inventories will have to be digested.
But is that also because of an increase in supply in terms of output, or is it because you think demand is going down? Which one is it?
Oh, I don't think, no. Demand is not going down, though there is something we expect that I don't hear discussed very much. And it harkens back to the early days of the internet. There was a moment when the internet was taking off.
I'm not the news.
Cisco
I'm just
was
listening
all
to
the
it
rage.
with you guys.
And then enterprises started thinking seriously about the need to spend aggressively on this new thing called the internet and the backbone, and they paused as a lot of competition started to make the rounds, and Cisco went down 50% plus as enterprises were pausing. Now, why are enterprises likely to pause or at least go through an assessment? They have to integrate all of their data first. Proprietary data is the secret to AI success. And they have to map out in excruciating detail their workflows internally and with suppliers and customers and so forth. And this is going to take time. So we think this movement is real, is going to be massive, but we think there's been a little bit too much too soon.
Well, it's interesting to hear you say that, Kathy, because you and at ARC were very early to acknowledge the impact of AI. Yet your flagship ARC Innovation ETF has not held shares of NVIDIA in about a year. You own some of it in your other ETFs. Do you have any regrets about not having held on to the stock or actually increasing your exposure in the last couple of years after more than 500% gain since 2022, since the end of 2022?
Yes. So you're right. We were very early into NVIDIA 10 years ago when it was $5. Now it's roughly $800. And we rode it most of the way up. But I'll tell you what we did. And this is, as a portfolio manager, it's not one action, but what it causes in terms of another action. Last year, we sold in the flagship NVIDIA and put it into Coinbase. Mm-hmm. Coinbase, I believe, is up at least as much as NVIDIA. And it is much less well understood. The whole crypto movement, the crypto asset movement, Bitcoin as a new asset class and so forth, is not well understood or completely accepted out there. So we prefer to go where others are not traveling as much. And, as we were moving out of NVIDIA, we were saying, okay, regulators are trying to crush Coinbase here, and we were buying it on every.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely think that even though if you are in crypto and then you see all this news in crypto and headlines making waves, it feels like crypto is like Bitcoin. I feel that way about Ethereum, and don't even get me started on all the other altcoins. So it's like not even close to most human beings on this planet don't trade stocks, but we're not even close to actually trade wants Bitcoin in their portfolio heavy, like they would a Tesla back in like 2021 and NVIDIA now of 2024. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the stream. I'm going to peace out, but I hopefully will be back once we see another all-time high, maybe for another coin. I wish Bitcoin luck. I know you guys think it's going to get to 80,000 end of day. I'm hoping more like 75, but who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised. Take care. Take care, but first make sure you smash the like button and you're subscribed. Ring that notification bell if you want to know whenever my live streams begin. Bye.